This video is very near and dear to me. I have had it locked away for like almost 3 years, but essentially what I'm going to talk about is I just finished oral 5 months, like literally fresh post-grad out of school, and I took 4 questions which I asked to my 2 good friends. Malik, who graduated like a semester before me, same graphic design program, and Khylar, who studied accounting and was, well on her way in her career. Malik too. And at this point, I had my first post-grad internship. I had internships all throughout college, but this was my first internship, which I was hopeful for it to turn from an internship to a job. That wasn't the case, and that kickstarts my journey. But my goal for this video is for someone who's about to graduate, or someone who's like, I guess, about to enter college, or just like any transitional stage, like you're about to leave college, you're about to enter college, you're about to go for any change, like get something from this video, because I rewatched it and some of the lessons that my friends talk about that they learned like still apply to me today. Also forgot to mention that this video is kind of my friends' stories, but I'm literally processing this video, and surely I'll share my own because it is a wild one. I have attempted to share it in the past, but I'm just gonna stick to the facts and share my story, my own journey to where I am now.
So just treat it like as if we were on FaceTime, but just thanks for taking time out of your day for a project idea. Okay.
Of course.
Yeah, I'll start with the first question. Was where you are now, like what is it in comparison to what you planned or what you thought you would be doing after college?
Honestly, I would say that kind of where I am now does mirror where I thought it would be post-college. Like, I kind of knew to expect that right after college, you don't hop right into the exact role that you want, unless like you just really, really want to, like, and you go after it and everything. But I would say I did want to be working in a professional work environment and doing something in what I graduated in, which is graphic design. So I would say that by the grace of God, for sure, I am technically where I want to be.
How long did it take for you to get from like finishing school, ending school to like where you are now?
I would say probably like a little over a year. Like right off the bat, I was applying strictly to graphic design jobs, and of course it's a little difficult if you don't have like a previous internship or like no like firm experience. So I kept like applying for positions like that and wasn't really hearing back much or getting rejected. And then someone brought to my attention that there was this really neat volunteer opportunity. And prior to that, I was just thinking like, oh, I want to like only apply to this job that I just studied to be in for like, years. And then when they brought it to my attention, I was like, okay, maybe this is kind of what people say when they're like, you don't get where you want to be right off the bat. So I actually accepted the opportunity and worked there for like a year, like volunteering. And then I got my first graphic design job offer. And then I took it right before I was actually geared to graduate from the program, but I like took a chance so I could get my foot in the door. And then right after, I was pretty much doing what I wanted to do, but I got like a bit of an eye-opener at that position. And then I got the position that I'm in now. Well, I'm actually working with other graphic designers, and I'm learning more and growing in the profession. So you could say like probably 1 to 2 years post-college.
I'll get to what you learned along the journey yet, but what I'm getting is probably the first job may not be the dream job, but it can help you get there.
Yeah. Like just kind of treat every step of the way as like a stone to get to where you want to be in the future. Like, don't think that every step that you make, like if it feels like you're going the wrong direction, don't feel like it's wasted or pointless. Like, you're going to get to where you want to be as long as you try and you make those opportunities and you realize what you don't want and you realize what you do want to do in the future. So definitely like keep going. It might take a little bit, it might not. You just never know.
From school to where you are now, was there anything from school that you used or like helped to like get to where you are now that stuck with you, or not so much?
I would say definitely like the education in itself helped. Like I would say like I'm well versed in design and everything, but I don't know, I would say maybe the interactions that I made on my own during doing like freelance for myself, that helped me more so in my profession now. Like school helped immensely and everything, and all that money was worth it. But me learning how to handle individuals, like in a professional sense, and how to actually just go for things, you could say that was kind of self-taught in a sense. Like they teach you a good foundation, but like going out there and like kind of going above and beyond what you're taught, that does help you too, for sure.
I can break down that question because it's a lot. It's more like what you learned along the way and like advice you'd have for others. So it's kind of two-part.
I definitely learned to like be patient, but don't be complacent. Like don't let the time that it takes you to kind of get on the path that you want to be on, don't let that time like stagnate you or soften you up too much, but do like take a step back and be like, okay, I'm not exactly where I want to be right now, but this volunteer opportunity might help me. Or this volunteer opportunity might give me a little extra edge when I get to where I want to go. So definitely like just be patient, never lose sight of like your goals. So I would kind of say I kind of answered both of those because I do think that's a nice question. It goes hand in hand. Like the advice would be just like stay the course and like don't frown your nose up at like a janitorial position at the zoo or something, or don't frown it up at volunteering for the community. Like it could just be a nice little in-between thing, or you might find out that's what you want to do all along. So don't turn your nose up. Don't like, feel like you're any less than what you are just because you didn't get like exactly what you thought on the first try. Because a little side note is that, I volunteered for a while and I got a job offer as a graphic designer for a company. So I left the volunteer position, but it turns out that position, even though I was designing, it wasn't exactly what I wanted. I was like by myself in an office. There was no opportunity to learn. It was very much like what you already know is, law. Like there's no room for growth. So when I got another opportunity that was, basically the same amount, but it was like working for restaurants, like designing and pamphlets and billboards and stuff, I took that opportunity because I was like, I can grow with that one. I can learn. So it's going to take time. And who's to say like this is my final step, because it definitely isn't. So just take everything with a grain of salt and just keep going.
Thanks, Malik. I had it, like the last question was like, what advice do you have for high school or like college seniors? But that's kind of different. I think just college seniors, like what advice do you have for them?
I would say definitely like apply. Don't be scared to apply for something that you feel like you not necessarily aren't qualified for, but something you're like, oh, I didn't really study that much of that in school, or I don't know if I'll really like it. Like, don't be afraid to try it, because it could be something you do love, or like I mentioned earlier, it could be something that helps you kind of figure out what you do want. Because I feel like the end goal with finding the right position and career for you is to like be honest with yourself and figure out what you want. Like you could want to be different facets in one field, and you're just gonna have to figure out like what it is you want. And of course, like even asking like a high schooler, like, oh, what do you want to be? Like, and some are, some are like, I really don't know. I haven't thought about it. Like, it's gonna take time. You have to do things to figure out what you do and don't like. So don't be scared to like just try anything and test the waters.
Thank you, Malik. Those are all the questions I had. Like the sub one which is not on the list that I thought of just now, was like, do you have any advice for someone struggling to set goals? Like, any thoughts on that?
Personally, I like to see things physically to help me like grasp things and help like motivate myself. So I would say write down your goals within reason. Like, I could be wrong on this, but I would say don't generalize it. Like, give yourself like a set number or something. Not to where like, okay, I want a job like in graphic design at top tier like next month, but just like kind of writing it out and saying like, I want to give this position a try, or I want to see how many interviews I can snag in the next year or something, or I want to be in a transitional field or career while I'm still applying, or I'm going to apply for 5 jobs this week. So I would say like set attainable little goals for you so that you are always doing something and you are always trying to strive for something. Yeah, I love doing like collages a lot because it's like a little art project in itself. If that's your type of thing, if you like Excel spreadsheets, you can do that too. It's not my cup of tea though.
Okay, so I'm here with Khylar Kane on this Life After College series. So I'll be asking her a couple questions. Was where you planned, like while you're in college, like where you ended up now?
So I would say like in college, of course, like I was an accounting major freshman year and really all the way through. I knew I wanted to work in public accounting, but I think it was more of like not knowing where I would end up. Initially, I wanted to stay like close to Charlottesville, in the Golden Triangle area. And that's actually where I interned at a firm in West Point, Mississippi. But during grad school, I spoke with some of my professors and they just kind of like told me to kind of like keep my options open to like other locations as well. And that fall, like August of 21, we had like a virtual career fair for accounting. And so I just did a few Zoom calls with some recruiters and I landed a few interviews, and that's kind of how I ended up where I am today in Memphis.
Awesome. How long did it take you to transition from school, like being a student, to like where you are, like early career? Would you say it's early career? Or like,
sure,
what's your like job now?
Yeah, so right now I'm a tax associate at an accounting firm. So like I finished grad school in May of 22. And then I was still taking the CPA exam after that. So I finished that up in September of 22 and I started working in October of 22. So it's currently July of 23. So I've been working about 9 months or so. I would say like the transition, have I fully transitioned? Maybe, maybe not. But like, because I still feel like, once grad school ended, you would think like, oh, like you're out of school mode. But like I was still studying for the CPA exam. So it's still like I was still kind of in school mode. But I would say like I'm almost, maybe given a couple more months, maybe a year, I would like complete the transition.
And then next question, what are some things you learned along your journey? So this is more like the transition, thinking about when you're wrapping up grad school to like being early career, or just like any point along from like being a student to like early professional.
Yeah, I would say like something I am learning. I'm not gonna say like there's not like a finish line like it is with school, like there's a start and a stop. Like, because like work, it continues, even though being on the tax side of things, like we have deadlines, but even after deadlines, things continue. So just like learning to like, find a good pace and don't like rush things. And, sometimes like we're in school and it's like, oh, I'm ready to hurry up and get this done so I can like get it off my plate. But like, I think with work, it's almost like, this is my job, like this is my career, this is almost a craft no matter what you're working at. So really take your time and, with what you're doing and like care about what you're doing.
And then like part 3A was like, what helped you like along the journey, like stuff you learned, but like what helped you kind of bridge that gap from being a student to a career, or just like life lessons like the past 2-3 years?
Yeah.
The transition period.
Yeah, I would definitely say like I'm friends with people who are like older than me. So just like taking a lot of their advice and learn lessons and them, being willing to share it, especially in the accounting field. that has been a tremendous help. You know, and it's not just people that I work with, but people who are like at, you know, work at other locations or other firms or smaller firms, larger firms. So just that great variety as it pertains to like my career specifically.
Okay, to wrap it up, what advice do you have for like high school seniors or college seniors, just like if you're to choose like younger self, going through what you went through now and like knowing what you know now, like what would you tell them?
Yeah, I would say definitely don't be afraid to ask questions, because you know that's sometimes how you like build a network and build a community. You make friends and, you know, mentors and that kind of thing. So I would say like definitely just don't be afraid to like not only like get on the internet and search things, but like ask someone who might have that firsthand experience, no matter like what field you want to go into or major or whatever you want to do, like after high school or after college. Definitely.